Hey everybody, it's me, Weeb here, back with another new What If coming out today. This What If will be, what if Naruto was a Titan Shifter? If you guys don't know what the Titan Shifters are, there's 9 of them called the 9 Titans from Attack on Titan. I won't get too much into spoiler territory if you have not watched Attack on Titan, but basically it's a power that our main protagonist, Eren Jaeger, has access to, which is why he's called a Titan Shifter, giving him the ability to transform into a massive monster. Anyway, let's get into the logistics of this, as well as get into the actual story for what if Naruto was a Titan Shifter. As we already know, in order to be a Titan Shifter from Attack on Titan, you need to intake something called the Titan Serum. The Titan Serum is usually from the spinal fluid of other Titans, and it allows the person who it's injected by to gain the Titan ability. In order for a Titan Shifter to fully be able to use this ability, it has to actually eat someone who has the ability already. That's how it passes on from each generation, if you didn't know that already. Anyway, now, let's get right into the start of the story. It's the night of the Kyuubi attack. We see the ginormous fox roaring as it rampages across the Leaf Village. Suddenly, a blast of yellow light would crash down from the Yellow Flash himself. Then we see him standing there, a ginormous titan, almost 16 to 17 meters in height, with long golden hair and bright shining blue eyes. We hear an animalistic roar that the titans can make, as we see Minato rushing towards Kurama. Kurama and Minato are actually battling it out now, as we see 2 giants battling in full strength. Kushina is trying to protect Naruto, as they're trying to complete the seal to seal the 9 tails. Minato only knows of one way, as the giant fox is able to overpower him fairly easily, even in Titan form. In Titan form, Minato cannot use most of his jutsu, as most of them he actually can't control due to how particular they are, mostly being the Flying Raijin. However, he is able to use things that only require chakra control and not chakra nature change or something like that, which would be the Rasengan. Minato will create a ginormous Rasengan in his palm of his Titan hand as he slams it into Kurama. Kurama would roar as there's a gaping wound in his chest. "Kushina, do it now," Minato will be thinking, as we see Kushina prepared to use her own Kekkei, the ability of the Uzumaki chains, to wrap around Kurama and pull it closer. Minato would then fall down, as he has sustained much injuries, falling out of his Titan form as a gas of steam comes moving out of the Titan body. With it being nighttime, his abilities have been lowered tremendously, as Titans are actually use the energy of the sun to power themselves. That's why they're so hot. As Minato stumbles towards Naruto, he holds out the Titan Serum. While using the Titan Serum that has been passed on through the Namikaze clan, which has been a strategic ability of theirs that they've had for a long time now, he would then use the actual serum and stab into Naruto's arm, injecting the Titan Serum. This part's going to be painful, Kushina, but this is the only way. Naruto would begin to transform into a Titan. "Do it now," Minato would say, as he feels himself being exhausted. Instead of using the Reaper Death Seal, this time, Minato, who would be out of chakra, would have Naruto use a different power, as Naruto would then have Kurama's being drawn closer to him. Naruto would begin to devour Minato, Kushina, as well as Kurama. Just as Ginkaku and Kinkaku had done before inside the fox's body, this time, however, was being done by a physical form. He was eating Kurama alive. Kurama was then sealed inside, using Kushina and Minato's last of their chakra to seal all of Kurama inside of Naruto. Naruto's body could handle it now, having the ability of the Titan transformation. As Minato is devoured, his chakra would transfer to Naruto, giving him the ability to control the Titan shifting form. As Naruto would then pass back out, forming back down into a small child, he would be stuck inside the Titan's body, eventually found by the third Hokage and ripped out from the nape. As the bodies of Titans dissolve rather fast, both Minato's Titan form as well as Naruto's would be taken away. Now, you guys might be wondering, if you are Attack on Titan fans, which Titan form Naruto and Minato would have access to. Just for the sake of what I think makes the most sense, I think that the Minato and Naruto would have access to the Attack Titan form, just like Eren would have, and it seems to fit them a lot better. But he might be able to gain other Titan forms with time, as we'll see. Anyway, now that we've gotten that over with, Naruto will be raised as a young child, completely unaware of the travesty that he had committed in the village, when he had devoured the fourth Hokage personally, as well as his own mother and the nine-tailed fox. Everyone was even more terrified of Naruto in this version, due to Naruto being quite literally a monster, as well as have another monster that is inside of him. Naruto would not know about his Titan shifting abilities for a long time, or that he is at the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Anyway, Naruto would go through school at the academy, and his chakra control would be dismal at best. Sasuke would stomp all over him. This would be the case for a long time. Naruto and sparring with Sasuke, and this is when Naruto would reach his hand out as he tries to grab Sasuke after Sasuke's pissed him off long enough. "Sasuke, I'm gonna get you," he would say. As he does this, Sasuke would turn around, kicking Naruto. The moment this happens suddenly, everyone in the class is shocked, as suddenly a bolt of electricity and yellow light begin to surround Naruto, as we hear a large explosion of heat. This wave of heat would then be accompanied by a roar, as we see Naruto now at around a 7 or 8 meter Titan level, being only still a small child, now completely out of control, as he's grabbed Sasuke. This is when Jonin from the surrounding village as well as Anbu would have to surround Naruto, knowing about the fourth Hokage's weakness after he had displayed it to his own troop of having to cut the nape. Naruto would go wild, as Sasuke is barely saved from Naruto before Naruto is taken down by the Anbu as well as the Jonin. Naruto, when he's pulled out, has no recollection of what had happened, and Sasuke is now terrified of Naruto, as he had no idea that Naruto could do that or was like that. Even after seeing the Uchiha massacre, Sasuke had never seen something so terrifying in his life. Naruto would now be treated even more bad by the rest of his fellow classmates, with them really seeing him as a monster. Naruto would be sitting in his room alone as he looks down, wondering what happened, as he remembers himself then being all pissed off at Sasuke trying to reach for him, when suddenly it just blurs. Naruto would shake this thought away as he thinks that eventually he's going to become a real ninja and become the Hokage someday. He looks out of his window, looking towards the great statues of the faces of the Hokage. A few years have passed now, and Naruto still doesn't know what that power he had activated so long ago was. Or doesn't even really remember it, to be honest. Anyway, the examinations finally become a genin have finally arrived. Mizuki would have been one of the people there seeing Naruto transform into a Titan, and this would cause him to have even more of an idea of what he could do with Naruto. Naruto would fail his test to create a very well-made clone, when he would confront Naruto after class and tell him that there's a secret way he can become a genin. A secret way I can become a genin? Naruto would think. Why wouldn't Iruka-sensei tell me about it if when he says this, Mizuki would put his finger over his lips and say, "Shh, this is a secret that only I'm allowed to do. If Iruka told you, then that would spoil the whole operation, wouldn't it?" Naruto would think about this for a second before deciding that makes sense, as he puts his hand on his other hand, saying he gets it. Naruto would then ask Mizuki what he wants him to do, with Mizuki telling him that he needs Naruto to go and steal the special scroll from the Hokage's office, the Scroll of Sealing. Naruto would nod, as he tells him that he'll get that, and as long as he gets his headband and becomes a genin. Mizuki would smile as he says that he will. As Naruto would leave, going to get the scroll, Mizuki would wait for him in the forest. Naruto, who would have gotten there earlier, would be reading through the scroll just before Mizuki would arrive where they were supposed to. Mizuki, who had already been in the forest, would be walking around looking for Naruto. Naruto had now learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu, just as he would have in the original, with Mizuki coming out and trying to tell Naruto about everything. Iruka would come in to save Naruto, but by then he had already told him everything. "You, Naruto, are a monster." Naruto would be shocked as he opens his eyes wide, asking what does he mean, as Mizuki would tell him everything about that day, how he transformed into a ginormous beast, as well as the tailed beast Kurama sealed inside of him. "You are two monsters in one, the most destructive being the Leaf Village could ever have created. You shouldn't even be alive. You're like a destructive weapon waiting to go off." Naruto would be shocked as his eyes are shaking, telling him that's not true. Iruka would then save him from the shuriken as he tells Mizuki that Naruto isn't just a weapon. Naruto is a hard-working person who wants to become a strong Leaf Shinobi, and even the Hokage someday. This is when Naruto would tell Haruka he's got this, as he would then create several hundred shadow clones surrounding Mizuki as he attacks him, taking him down and fighting until Mizuki was nothing but a bloody pulp. As Mizuki's been taken down, Naruto would ask Haruka if that was really true about him turning into a monster 5 years ago against Sasuke. When he nods, Naruto would be shocked, looking down, looking at his hand, just as what he had been reaching towards Sasuke that day. Naruto would remember his ability and would nod to Haruka, saying he'll keep it in mind. The next day, Haruka would have given Naruto his headband by then, with that touching emotional moment. Naruto would be now announced to be a genin, and his team would be Team 7 with Sakura and Sasuke. Naruto would be placed on the same team as Sasuke and Sakura, as he's happy that he's on the same team with Sakura, but he gives Sasuke a pissed-off look as his eyes are filled with rage. Sasuke flinches a little as he remembers that terrifying monster that he had seen that day. So that's why Naruto would think, as every time they'd made eye contact, Sasuke would look away whenever they'd been in class together. He must really think that I'm a monster, he would think as he hears Mizuki echoing his words in his head. Naruto would shake his head back and forth, saying that it's nothing, as he's now excited to be a true genin, being taken on by a professional teacher, a real jonin leader. Naruto and Team 7 would be the last ones waiting, as Naruto is sitting there impatiently waiting for where Kakashi, which he doesn't know it's Kakashi, would be coming from. He decides to play a little prank on their late teacher, as he puts a bar of an eraser on top of the door. As he does this is when Kakashi would come walking through. As the door opens and it falls on his head, he would look up as Naruto laughs, while Sasuke and Sakura are sighing. Kakashi would think that he has 3 interesting people this time around, and says that they'll all be heading up to the roof to discuss their goals, ambitions, and what they want to be. As they all get to the top of the rooftops, this is when he would tell them to sit down. Kakashi would ask them, with Naruto raising his hand of course, what their likes, dislikes, and what they want their dream, their goals to be when they're older, or what they want to do. Naruto would raise his hand immediately, as Kakashi would look back and forth and then pick on Sasuke first. Well, I don't really have any likes or dislikes, but I don't have a goal either. However, I would say I have an ambition, a strategy of which I shall take down my highest aspiration. Something that won't be a dream because it will come true. Something real, Sasuke would say, with his edge growing sharper every second. Kakashi would be rolling his eyes as he feels cringe emanating from Sasuke. Sasuke would then tell him that he wants to kill a certain someone, as he then sits there edgily, looking off into the distance like he's some sort of isekai hero. Then we see Sakura. Sakura be shaking back and forth, with Sakura staring at Sasuke intensely, with him beginning to get creeped out, staring into the sunset still, even though it's midday. As she wouldn't even need to ask that Sakura was there to be Sasuke's hype girl. He would then turn to Naruto and ask what he is hoping for. Well, Naruto looked down at his hand. I want to become the Hokage someday. My likes and dislikes? Naruto would ask. I guess I like ramen, you know? Mr. Ichiraku's always nice to me, he would think, as he thinks back to when Ichiraku hadn't been mean to him, and the, ramen guy had always been there for Naruto. This is when Naruto would then be interrupted with Kakashi asking him to go back. Go back a second. Did you just say you want to be Hokage and then follow that up by ramen? Naruto would nod, saying that he wants to be the Hokage, definitely. Kakashi would have actually been one of the people to take down Naruto, and he would know that Naruto has his own demons to battle. He'd nod, telling Naruto to keep working towards his goal, as he then closes his book, saying to all of them that the next day they'd be meeting up to do their examination to see if they can really become a team and show off what they can do. Sasuke and Naruto look over this as they're excited, with them walking away. Naruto would head home excited as he goes to sleep, barely able to contain his excitement till the next morning. As they arrive to see Kakashi at the training fields, they see his black hair waving in the wind. Now, you might be confused there for a second. Kakashi has white hair. What do you mean? Kakashi in this What If is not a Hatake. In fact, he's actually the son of the Black Fang, Ackerman. That's right, Kakashi Ackerman. This is a shoo-in, basically, because I like Levi and I like Kakashi, and I think it works very well. If you guys know about the Ackermans, then you'll know why. This makes Kakashi even more OP, probably. Anyway, I'll get into more on why that happens, but it's not his father. His father is still the White Fang, but his mother is an Ackerman. Anyway, Getting back to the training, we see Kakashi's boringly looking down at his book as Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura have arrived. He would command them to get ready for a battle as he holds out 2 bells, saying that whoever can capture one of these bells from him will win and be accepted. Naruto would be ready for anything as he asks Kakashi what they're allowed to do. "Try to kill me," he would say as he looks up with a cold, dead stare. Sasuke and Naruto wouldn't even hesitate, as Sakura would be shocked from this statement. Naruto would rush forward at full speed as he rushes with a punch towards Kakashi, creating 2 shadow clones beside him. As the 2 shadow clones continue to battle against Kakashi, Kakashi would easily handle all 3 of them, spinning through the air and flipping, easily cutting them down with his kunai. Naruto has been pushed to his brink as he's sweating and coughing, looking down his blood on his own hands. He'd look up at Kakashi, who wasn't seemingly holding back, as Naruto would look up at him with shock. This is when Sasuke would throw a fireball jutsu down towards Kakashi, who would dodge out of the way, grabbing Naruto and throwing him out of the way as well. "Are you trying to kill your teammate?" he would say. "He wouldn't die from something like that," Sasuke would say. Kakashi would look up as Sasuke comes down to the battle, with Sakura still watching on the sidelines. This is when Naruto would tell Sasuke to stay away. "I can do this," he would think, as he would hold his hand out to Kakashi. I can do this," he would think. As he does so, he would then suddenly have an urge. As he bites his own hand, blood would begin to spring forth. "What's going on?" he would think. Suddenly, a burst of electricity of yellow would begin to cover him from the entire sky, as heat begins to surround his body, as a blast of Titan steam would blow out of his mouth. There, standing there, at a solid 16-meter height, would be Naruto, in Titan form. "Now that's what I wanted to see," Kakashi would say, as he then creates the Chidori, as he rushes towards Naruto. Diving and jumping, creating shadow clones, and as well as the substitution jutsu to escape Naruto's blows. Naruto is swinging and kicking at mad pace, as Naruto can actually see this time what's going on. "What's going on?" he would think, as he sees his body looking down at his own hands and how humongous they are. He would swipe at Kakashi, smacking at him. Kakashi would quickly create a shadow clone before it bursts into steam. Naruto's strength and endurance and just defense in general has all been upped dramatically, as Sasuke is stock still, his knees shaking as he looks up in horror at this monster. Naruto would continue batting at Kakashi like a fly, when Kakashi would be using his Chidori, rushing up Naruto's leg, slicing through as blood leaks from the ginormous Titan. As Kakashi would then rush towards Naruto's nape, saying that that's not going to work if he's that desperate, Naruto would hold a hand over his neck, defensively, as he then bats Kakashi back. Kakashi would take the hit as he feels blood soak through his mask as he hits into a tree. Kakashi would be knocked out as Naruto would then fall out of Titan form, as Kakashi had gotten the final cut on Naruto's nape. As Naruto falls to the ground, he'd eventually wake up, though he's exhausted, as he begins crawling towards Kakashi. Kakashi would also wake up as he looks down to see that he's covered in blood, telling the 2 of them that they need to calm down, as Naruto tells him that he will, as soon as he reaches his hand out as he grabs the bell and holds it into the air, telling him that he wins. Kakashi would be shocked, saying that he had been pushing his test a bit too far, he says. Naruto would ask what he means, when Kakashi would tell him to turn around. Looking up, he would see the ginormous body of his Titan form, with Naruto being surprised. Sasuke would finally stop shaking after Naruto's Titan form dissipates, with Kakashi saying that the other 2 still have to get the bell from him. Naruto lay down on the grass, almost passing out instantly. If you guys want to see the next part for What If Naruto's a Titan Shifter, make sure to hit the like button, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe to the channel for more. I will see you guys in the next one.